We're live. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Craner. I'm your host, Lyndon Crane. And today we have some special guests joining the show. Fight Like Mason Foundation. We have Chantelle Bacon and Iain Macri right on the line here. You can see them on the right or left, wherever you're watching. They formed a charity called the Fight Like Mason Foundation, which aims to really improve treatment, care, quality of life, and awareness of patients diagnosed with all types of childhood cancers. And they have an amazing story and an amazing mission. And, just their award this year was proof of that. They won a Business Excellence of the Year award, pillar of our community. And I'm so excited to talk about tonight's interview, the story of Fight Like Mason, and all the exciting initiatives that they have on the go. So, Iain, Chantelle, thank you for being here. Glad to have you.
Lyndon, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Happy to be here.
Now, jumping into my favorite question of the show, where in Windsor, Essex would you say, if you had to pick just one, favorite place for coffee?
I may give a little bit of a hipster type answer. My favorite is my house, and recently I've been getting into pour over coffee. So
okay,
so I've really into like bean and roasting types and
French press.
No, just pour over, just whatever the nice dark roasted bean. I get it from a Black Rifle Coffee Company, which is out in Alberta, and they have one in the States, and they employ veterans and things like that. And that's been my favorite. I've been all in on pour over coffee every day. The process, the smell, everything's good. It's all good.
You're a coffee connoisseur.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but at least I'm trying.
How about you, Chantelle?
Well, I have a boatload of allergies, so I also have to stick to my Nespresso machine.
Oh, yes. My girlfriend really wants one, especially the foam thing that you can do with it.
It's the best.
You're at home caramel macchiatos.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, just going into, I guess you could call it the real question. How did Fight Like Mason start? For those that don't know, I mean, you have a massive following. You're super involved in the community, but the people that are just finding out and hopefully after the show are going to be donating. How did this all start for you?
Yeah, it started with obviously our son Mason was diagnosed just before his third birthday in 2015 with a cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma. And what he ended up having was a large 10-centimeter mass or tumor that was growing in his bladder and his prostate. So he got diagnosed, and we were obviously devastated with his diagnosis. But Mason was a superhero. And we needed a way to tell Mason, that he had cancer. And how do you tell a little boy he has cancer who's just turning 3? So we came up with an analogy in order to give him something to latch onto. And it was that he had a bad guy inside of him, and that he was going to have to become an Avenger and become really strong and get superpowers in order to fight off this bad guy that was inside of him. And that was part of how Mason became the superhero that he was. So every time he went to the hospital and got chemo, he wasn't getting chemo. He was getting Captain America's super soldier serum. And when he was getting radiation, it was like the Hulk, and it was going to make him strong and,
Wow.
ultra powerful. He had a piece of metal, like, which maybe you're familiar with, a port that cancer patients get. And we explained that was like Iron Man. You had an arc reactor that holded all his power in it. So when he got his chemo delivered, it was delivered through that. So that's how Mason became, known as this little boy with superpowers. And so our journey took us all over. We went from Windsor. Obviously, all of our pediatric oncology patients in Windsor, Essex get treated in London as a main community hub. But our journey brought us to sick kids in Toronto and all the way down to Houston, Texas. We lived for 2 months while Mason got a treatment down there as well. So our journey took us everywhere, and he fought for just over 13 months, and his cancer came back. And then ultimately it took him in June of 2016 after his 4th birthday. So after Mason passed, Chantelle and I decided that we made Mason a promise to continue his fight and to take care of all the other children that have been affected by childhood cancer. And that's kind of where our slogan or our motto or our trademark was born, was defeating the villain for good, was from that analogy with Mason. And we had a mission to make a difference and fill all the gaps that we experienced as a family in the world of pediatric oncology and childhood cancer.
Mm-hmm. No, it's super touching story for two reasons. One, you were able to take something that might be so difficult for somebody that age to understand, and then applying it to like a superhero analogy, right? Just to kind of, I think everyone, like if you can say something in a lighter way, it changes their outlook on it, and they're able to deal with it, more strongly, I guess. So no, that's super cool. And then the fact that you're continuing his legacy with this foundation is awesome. Like, you turned something that's obviously extremely terrible into a positive. And for me, that's just, that's why I love the organization. And that's why I dyed my hair last year. Obviously it's dyed back now, but yeah, no, it's such a cool story. And I don't think there's one like it, to be honest. Like,
well, we know it's difficult, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for us, even just to get started was really difficult, but even just to have the strength to be able to do it. We meet a lot of families that are in treatment or out of treatment, kids in survivorship, and other bereaved parents like us. And it's really difficult to be around that community once you're out of it, because of all the trauma that you experience as a family, as your child experiences, everything. As soon as you're done, you're done. You don't want to go back. And so it was difficult for us to get that strength to do that. But we knew that if we didn't do it, no one else was going to do it. So we really tried our very best to fill all those gaps that we had. And that's where all of our programs that we now offer and give to the community is from all those experiences and all those moments that we said, oh, why does it have to be like this? Or, man, wouldn't it be cool if we had something like this, insert in the blank, right? Fill in the blank. And that just breathed just from what we went through.
And you mentioned a bunch of initiatives that you have on the go and programs. Can you tell us more about, I mean, you have many that are ongoing to support childhood cancer. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think the one that we're most known for is our Mason Power Pulse, which is the world's only custom IV pole for children. And we have those in there'll be 14 hospitals this year across Ontario, all the way up to Peterborough, and in our local community as well. Kids who need IV treatment at home, get them free of charge for as long as they want. That's one that I think, we're most known for. And then we have a slew of other programs that help children and families diagnosed with childhood cancer. We have, our partnership with EMS, and we give the little Beanie Boos or superhero plushes to any child that uses those services, because Mason was in an ambulance quite a few times, and it's always a scary unknown of where am I going, what's happening. So we wanted to break that barrier and have a little, strength for those kids. We have a lot of bereavement support with funeral expenses, and then bereavement support with our moms and dads groups after as well, which we wish we didn't have to host, but it is needed. And then we have our superheroes, which is Iain and I, mostly Iain, who dress up as movie grade superheroes and go visit the kids in the hospital, or whenever they have a big milestone, we're there to cheer them on, with a bunch of other programs that we have recently launched. And keeps going. Thanks to Chantelle's brain and not being able to give up, we keep creating new things. So
no, it sounds like Iain, it sounds like you're addicted to the superhero costumes. Are you ever at home watching a movie or watching Captain America and you have to dress up at all?
Obviously, word on the street is that I have an affinity for superheroes, maybe. But
Iain can do any voice and is very accurate with voices. So we've watched and studied the movies to know every word, and Iain can.
I wish in my other life I probably would love to be a voice actor. I would have loved to have done something like that. But
Chantelle just put you on the spot, so I think we have to hear something now.
Nothing but a little pressure, right? Oh, hey, how's it going, man? It's me, Spider-Man. Dude, it's so good to see you. Wow, what's your name? Holy crap, dude! You're a superhero too, just like me. Oh, we're gonna be friends, aren't we? Come on, give me a fist pump, man. That's my Tom Holland Spider-Man.
What one is that?
That's my Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Okay. That's from the latest one.
Yeah, the latest few Avengers movies, and all the latest Spider-Mans. Yeah.
Yes. What was the latest one called again? I forget.
That was No Way Home was the latest Spider-Man.
What did you think of it?
I really liked it. I mean, I know they did the crossover between the multiverse things and the other Spider-Man or just Spider-Man, I guess, came through. And I mean, it's a cool fanfare, right? You're never going to see that. And I know that the Marvel and Disney giants just love eating away at fanboys, and that's me. So I'll buy in. I'll still buy in.
Yeah. I loved it too. Now, just speaking of some proud moments at the foundation, besides being able to dress up wherever you go, which is awesome. What has been another just amazing moment so far since you started?
Yeah, we're really proud to have brought Profile to our local hub, which is London Health Sciences. And Profile is gene sequencing for kids and their specific tumors. So it was at all other hospitals, but it wasn't fully funded for our local kids. So we made sure to bring that. And that's been a huge accomplishment that we are very proud of.
Yeah, it's an amazing Canada-wide program that allows every kid, no matter where they're diagnosed or wherever they are, if they're diagnosed with a high-risk disease or relapse disease where their cancer has come back and they're left with not a lot of options. It's a complete gene sequencing of the tumor to see if there are any outliers or any specific mutations that might give the treating team any sort of lead on a current drug that's out there that might match it, even if it's not standard of care. A lot of people don't understand that when you get treated with cancers, there's standards that you have to go through. We can only give you drug X until this happens. Then we can go to drug Y. And so on and so forth, right? You can't just ask for this drug and get it, right? So but with this Profile program, you can sometimes eventually, it's hopefully getting to a point where we can skip that step. Or if a patient comes in and they're diagnosed with something really aggressive, they may be able to prove that another drug would work way better or much better than that, and skip that step. So we've been able to fully fund our children in Southwestern Ontario for the last 3 years with this initiative. So it's allowed them all access to getting this, and it's obviously done through the hospital and the oncology teams and whatnot, and then a panel reviews it and they decide, Canada's Best decide if there's a actionable target that they can treat with, and it's kind of a Hail Mary for a lot of times, and it's not every single child might work for, but for the ones that it does and has, it's been a game changer. So for us to be able to change some aspect of how kids are actually treated, like on the front line of treating a child, that's our proudest moment. Because our whole goal is to not have a Band-Aid anymore, and we want to not let them have this anymore, make all these diseases, survivable. And that's the plan.
Yeah. It's important. It's a huge issue. But it takes organizations, across the globe to pitch in. It takes donors. It takes a lot of things, science. So no,
that's a good thing.
Hopefully science speeds up a bit.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Now going in a little bit to just taking on a charity, and you've grown it to, I don't even know how much money you've brought in since you started. It must be astronomical.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure where we're at right this second, but I know a few months back, we reached about 1.6 million in since 2017. So since we started, honestly, that is a testament, of course, to the community being able to believe in what we're doing. And
we get zero government like funding or grants or anything like that. So
yeah, it's solely based on community fundraising and people that have latched on to what we've been able to do and what we've been able to help with, and then believe in that cause. And that's a heartwarming thing. Anytime someone donates to us or contributes in some way, they're not only honoring like our boy and kind of keeping his legacy going, but being able to allow us to help, it means so much.
No, it's unreal. Like 1.6 million. Come on. That's like amazing.
Yeah, and we have hopefully a lot to show for it. That's been done, but yeah, no, there's a lot of challenges, right? It's really not easy, especially when there's a cause so close to our hearts, right? And to be able to put yourself out there and, you know, say, hey, can you give us money just to give us money? That's a difficult thing to do.
And talking about it too, right? Like the story it's in the name, right? Like you probably have, you know, become more comfortable with talking about things like this.
But even meeting all the families and going through their journeys from Windsor to all the way to GTA and all that, and even across the world, it's hard to hear the, you know, similar stories to Mason. And, you know, it's a 24-hour thing. You don't really have
a shut off.
Yeah.
It was our world, and we know it's the family's worlds that we help. So it's something that just doesn't go away. So that's a challenge too, right? When you're in, especially something as, you know, horrific as a child having cancer, right? So and then in getting out of that, I think is something that we've strived to do, is to change how people discuss it, how talk about it.
Right? Yeah.
So taking a subject that's kind of tabooed like that, right? You know, oftentimes people would see a commercial on TV with a child with a bald head, and it's like, oh, I can't watch that.
Exactly.
I can't deal with that. And you don't want it to believe it's real. But for us as a charity, being able to come across as in a positive way, you know, to empower the children and change how it's looked at, I think is one of our strengths that we've been able to do, and hopefully been able to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like you turn the word cancer into a negative, but, you know, into a positive, right? So it's not easy to do at all, and you have a fun, creative way of doing it for sure. I do want to jump into the comments. I had one question that came up from Brenda Coco Perret. If I see the accent there, it must be French. What is your dream for the Fight Like Mason Foundation?
Well, it's a big one. We have a few. I'm a big dreamer, and I love, you know, reaching for the stars, which is sometimes a stressor. But no, we would love, you know, to have, you know, Mason be almost like a Terry Fox, where, you know, we're changing the world, we're changing research, we're changing things, and making this a more, you know, because one child dying is one too many. So someone might say it's rare, but we want to take that word away. So having Mason nationwide and being able to help all the families we possibly can is a huge dream.
Yeah. And to share, you know, his story that leads people into like just bringing them in to, you know, turn their head towards it. Right. Because it is a problem. Like childhood cancer is the leading cause of medical death in children. It is what it is. And, and there's 400 children in Ontario that get diagnosed every year. There's about 11,000 that are on active treatment. So it is a big problem, and we've come far, you know, from the last 30 years, 40 years in treatment options. But you can look at statistics all you want to, and you say that, oh, it's 85% survivable, and you're like, oh my God, that's great. Like 85%, but Mason was not one of that 85%. Every other kid that left was not one of those 85%. And that one, like Chantelle said, that 1% or at one child is too many. So to use our story and our experience and be able to change that on a global scale, I think that's what we want to do. And then ultimately be a part of making all of these diseases survivable.
Finding a cure.
You know, like kids. Make it no more for them, make them all be able to be treated. You know, if we can't them getting it, at least we can change how they're treated with it.
85 to 100 for sure.
That's it. Got to fix that last 15%.
Exactly. There's another question that came in. Dar Sleeth Poirier. What ways can society be more inclusive of kids with cancer?
That's a really good question. That's a good answer, because it is difficult. We know from experience with teachers and whatnot. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say that's the whole point of our This Is Me photo shoot that we do with childhood cancer kids. And we want them to be known for more than, oh, you're the kid who had cancer. Oh, you're the kid that, you know, they're put into this box where it's like you're only described as the kid with cancer. And, you know, we have to learn that they are more than that. Like, they have goals, they have ambitions, you know, they want to grow up to change things. So the biggest thing is to stop putting them in that box with saying like, oh, you're that kid, you were this kid, you know, and use it as a strength instead of the, you know, kind of like sometimes it gets to be too much for the kids that it's like, oh, I don't even want to talk about it anymore, but it should be something they're proud of. So being okay with talking about it and talking, even if when the kids pass, we love hearing about Mason and Mason's name. You never want someone to stop talking about them. So even if a child passes, just still bring up the name is such a huge thing.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point. Now, just thinking of it, especially if you're going into, let's say, grade school, and one day, you know, you, like you said, you have your head shaved, right? Like, it's there, you know, people look, obviously, right? But to make it so that when you're looking, you're like, it's a positive. You still want them to come out and play soccer or whatever, right? Like, don't put them into a different type of activities because, you know, they're different in some way, right? Like, I think I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
they're still a kid.
Yeah, and
you know,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's like you want to describe them as, I know, a child with cancer, not a cancer. They're a child before they're, you know, someone who's sick, right? So I think that's really important. And getting, you know, understanding when parents are obviously, you know, a little bit reserved or anxious about their child going out because, you know, when children are on treatment or either after, there's a big fear that comes around with them being around germs or being around kids in large groups, because there's this fear of one step into getting sick with something else might put them back, or an understanding why they're so paranoid about that, because, you know, might be a small cold for one person, but for a child with cancer, it could be the end. Just like that. So that's just understanding parents' reserves from protecting their kids like that is really important.
I think too, like, even to go on off of that is, you know, as a parent, you are trying your best to do everything. So when someone who hadn't gone through what you've gone through suggests like, oh, you should try, you know, lemon juice for a week on your 3-year-old to cure him. And I think it's like those kind of conversations that parents are doing their best. They're trying everything possible. And I don't think the blame should be on what you fed your kid or certain things. So I think changing the narrative of that as well, of, well, you must have done something wrong, but there is nothing that makes childhood cancer happen in kids, right? It's just a mutation in their gene. And it's like doctors told us, it's like winning the bad lottery. So I think it's changing how we speak about it and allowing these kids to be proud of what they're going through.
Yes, which can be tough for sure. One more question from the comments, and this kind of leads into my final question. What can the community do to help with the foundation, helping achieve its goals, helping with the growth globally?
You want to go? Okay.
Go ahead.
Obviously, any, like, you know, donations are always a huge thing. We have our September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, so we raise awareness 12 months out of the year, but September is the month to really shine bright and shine gold, which is the color for childhood cancer awareness. So we have our lawn sign initiatives that hopefully you've seen because we've been delivering this week. That can be for just $1 a day. You know, it's $30. You're showing your support, showing your community. I always get like I can't spend blank on, you know, a donation or something, but $1 can change a lot of things. You know, if everyone gave $1, we could do so many things with that, right? It doesn't have to be this grand thing. It can be small things. It can be donating blood, which we have a blood drive coming up at St. Simon and St. Jude in Bell River. And there's all kinds of ways. We have our Gold Hair Dudes Care event, which, you know.
That was fun. That was awesome.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things during September that you can do to raise awareness. And you can even just share our post and, you know, comment on them and engage in them so that other people who may want to be involved in something can have that opportunity.
Absolutely. And now I hear you have, somebody says they love your Fight Like Mason fireworks party.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this is our first year this year that at St. Clair College put on for us and hosted this year downtown at the Chrysler Theater. So yeah, that was a huge turnout, and we hope to get it again next year. It was pretty fun. Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully the fireworks weren't inside of the theater.
No, definitely not.
It was the Detroit River ones. So
yeah, we'd
That's
be in
awesome.
trouble if we had a fireworks party indoors.
Hey, you never know.
They would not like us.
Yeah. No, this is no. There's a lot of ways, and you mentioned Gold Hair Dudes Care. I highly recommend it. I loved it. It's awesome. I remember last year going out and just seeing a video from somebody battling with cancer, and they picked your hair color, and one day you wake up and you have blue and green hair. So
it's easy as that.
Easy as that. And you can do temporary. If you don't want to go extreme, you can do temporary. But
we even have a gold wig this year. If you even don't want the spray, we have a gold wig. So
okay,
take home.
Yeah,
exactly. And I had to put Chantelle. Actually, I think you dyed my hair.
I did.
Yes.
Yep.
So
yeah, this fundraiser's been going on. For those who don't know, they know this fundraiser has been this is our third year doing it, and we started during the pandemic, and for the first year in the pandemic, and we continued on every year since then. And it just was a really cool visual to be able to give, the community itself and the kids especially to have something to take control over, right? Like Chantelle mentioned.
They don't have control when they lose their hair. I remember Mason, when his hair started falling out, it was the first day he wanted to eat, and he wanted pancakes. And just all his hair was falling out into his syrup. And, we had to make that decision for him. And even at 3 years old, he didn't want anyone to see him after we had to shave his head, right? So this is the opportunity for one of these kids to have control over someone else's hair instead of someone having control over their own hair. So
yes.
Yeah.
So if anybody reaches that goal, that $2,000, pledge goal, part of the challenge for Gold Hair Dudes Care, we're going to have a little boy or girl surprise them with a super special color.
Yeah.
They might pick not even one color, like 8.
Might get 2. Yeah, we had one guy last year that all the 4 houses of Hogwarts. So he had like confettied hair.
Yeah. What I found the most impactful was showing up to work the next day with blue and green hair or wherever, and just people asking. And then it gives you the opportunity just to explain, like, hey, this is why my hair looks like this. And it's promoting your organization, it's promoting Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and so many great things. It was just an opportunity to start a conversation.
Yeah, you're a walking billboard for us. So
yeah,
it's great to open up that conversation because normally you don't see someone in the grocery store with, well, unless you see me, with colorful hair, and you want to be like, hey, why do these 2 guys in the grocery store talking to each other have orange and blue hair? And, it opens up that dialogue to talk about childhood cancer and why, September is such an important month.
And that's something we really want to do too. We've been doing, with our, shirts, right? With our symbol, and people wearing the merchandise that they want to wear. And then when they're out in public and they see someone and they ask about the foundation or they ask about the shirt or whatever, then they're having that dialogue that they would never have about childhood cancer in the community, whether it's what we do or not, or someone else that's in their, family circle that have been fighting, or someone they know. It's a great way to be able to, discuss things openly.
And the merch is cool. Like, it's kind of badass.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We think so.
Yeah.
We try to aim for.
We want you to want to wear it.
Exactly. No, listen, I said this before the interview on posting on social media advertising. You guys are definitely a power couple. No pun intended. You probably got that before, but if you didn't, I was the first. But no, seriously, it's just it's super inspiring story. Super inspiring to see a couple work on a foundation together. Working with family or someone you're in a relationship with can be tough for sure. And it's just, it brightens people's day. And I think, inspires others to start up an initiative for whatever cause it might be. And I really appreciate your time. And if you're watching right now, make sure you're going to their website and you're donating or you're signing up to get your hair colored. So Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us,
Thank
Lyndon.
you.
That was great.
Awesome.
And we hope all your followers enjoyed, listening a little bit about us. And even if you took 5 minutes, or well, not 5 minutes, 20 minutes to listen to us talk today, and learn a little bit about childhood cancer and some of the struggles in our programs, that means a lot to us.
Absolutely. Everyone, thanks for watching. Check out the full episode, coffeewithcrainer.com. We'll see you very soon.